Hey, what's up, guys, out there in internet land? OTA, the Online Trainer Academy, PTDC. Happy to bring you guys another amazing live session. We got a treat for you today. But first, my name is Ren, R-E-N. My last name is Jones. I am one of the graduates from the very first group of OTA candidates. So I'm one of the folks that messed everything up so you guys can have it better now. You're welcome. And I want to say something really quickly. This is important because we want to give you something. I don't know if you guys like getting free awesome stuff, but we want to give you guys a copy, the box set of the Highly Wealthy Online Trainer. And the way you're going to get that is get on that keyboard right now, type in and let us know where you're listening from. You're going to see a prompt from PTDC that's going to come up also to give you more information. But type your location. Let us know where you're watching from. Tell a friend to come on and get them to tell us where they're watching from so we can give you one of those box sets for the Highly Wealthy Online Trainer. You really want that in your life. Trust me. But today, we've got a gentleman that's going to share some things with us about one of my all-time favorite subjects and something that we talk about as trainers a lot to our clients, consistency, guys, because consistency trumps almost everything. But I'm not going to talk you guys to death. I brought somebody else on today to do that. Mackie Root is here, and he's going to give us some information. So, Mackie, I'm going to let you take it away, brother. Explain to the people sort of how you got into the business, what you do specifically, and I'm just going to let you run with it.
All right. So, like you said, my name is Mackie Root. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've been training since 2010. Been involved in athletics all my life, so it's always been sort of second nature to me. I got into post-college, I got into Annie Ann's pretzels. So we were selling pretzels in malls, working to the bone, selling the salt, sugar, and fat, to everybody that would give me a couple bucks to take one. And, 2008 hit, we sort of saw the writing on the wall. The malls that we were in were starting to die. It was time to kind of move on. Thankfully, I had recently just started working out again. So after college, my body was broken down. I took, those 2-3 years of just working 70-hour weeks, really neglected my body. I wasn't paying attention to what I was eating. Or if I was like, oh, let me get that cheesesteak, or, let me get that Food Network goodness over here. But, so I got really into nutrition, really into fitness. I found this fitness studio that was near my house and, was able to kind of get back into that athlete shape that I had once been in. And it was a huge mental shift for me. So I was just like back in at 100%. I guess that's just my personality, So, I was coming into the gym 5-6 days a week, just consistently, making those, incremental improvements every day. And, as we sort of exited out of the pretzel business and, my heart wasn't there anymore. I don't know if it ever was, but it wasn't there for sure. It was sort of a logical next step to jump into the fitness world and, to be able to help people in the same way that I had been helped, to get out of, the bad habits that I had and, to really start to turn my life around. Yeah. So, back to consistency, it's just like, I'm preaching to my clients every day, you gotta, 80% of the time you've got to, eat the right things. You got to do the right workouts, one step at a time, that incremental improvement. But I wasn't following it myself, when it came to my own business and running my own business. So sort of to bring it back to that, I started to coach myself on it, and I really struggled. It's a tough world in the fitness industry. It's like one of the hardest things. I see it in nurses also, where when you're helping other people, it makes it really challenging to take care of yourself.
So what was it like for you? Like, what was your level of sort of self-care? Even after you went through this transition where you became a fitness professional, like early on, what was your level of self-care? Like, how well were you taking care of yourself, nutrition-wise? And
yeah, I mean, I was in much better shape before I became a fitness professional than, you know, a year into it, because I was, you know, taking on every client, every class. You know, I had a 5:45 in the morning class and 8 p.m. client, you know, that same night, and then have to come back in at the, you know, for the 5:45 class the next day. So it's just like, you know, you eat whatever you can find, you know, on the way home that's still open, you know. So it's, you know, between nutrition and then, you know, the last thing you want to do, and it's hard to explain this to anybody unless you've been there, but the last thing you want to do after spending, you know, a morning training your clients, coaching classes, putting out all of that energy, then you have to work out yourself and now have to give another 100% on your own workout. It's like, how are you going to do that?
Exactly. And we chatted a little bit before this, and people sort of underestimate, especially in person, because I've done group classes before too. People sort of underestimate the amount of energy output it takes to lead a class, you know, because they're going to give you a percentage of what you're giving them. So any great coach like yourself, you know, expending that energy, you're going to give it all up for that class. And it sounds like that's sort of what you found out after you became a trainer.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of the classes that I coach are, I'm not actually doing the workout with you, but it feels like I did. And then I do have some, I coach some cycling classes as well, where then I'm not only coaching you, but I'm also doing it at the same time. And then that's 150%, you know?
Absolutely. You know, we got a comment that just came in from Raymond, and Raymond says that he consistently struggles with being consistent. He said he's gung ho for a week, and then things phase out. And I'm assuming, since we're in a training program here, we're talking to trainers. I'm guessing that Raymond's talking about, you know, training, about coaching, maybe not about his own personal training, but it sort of all ties in, I guess, though. You know, when you really think about it, both things can exhaust you.
Yeah.
100%. So
absolutely. You know, I find a lot of that.
Yeah. And me too. And I've found and here's a point for you guys out there in OTA land, something that you might want to consider, because sometimes when we're producing content, you have a lot of trainers that respond to your content, but guys, coaches hire coaches. And what I found recently in my business is that coaches have reached out to me. So it's something to consider, because whatever you're going through, there's probably another coach that's going through that. And I asked Mackie this off camera, but I'll ask him this again. Do you find that a lot of the people that come to you for coaching, Mackie, sort of fit your template of your life? Do you find other people who went through what you went through with sports, etc.?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's funny how I played in the Colonial Athletic Association, the CAA. I have so many clients that also played in the CAA. It's like schools that I played against. It's like they're almost mirror images of me. And it's just, whether they played in college or they played in high school, it's like, you know, we used to work out at a high level, used to train at a high level, you know, then fell off, and then now I'm trying to get back into it as an adult. And that's sort of, you know, it's a perfect mirror of what I am and what I do.
So for the folks out there, the new trainers, the trainers that have been here a while, you know, the online trainers, would you suggest that sharing the reality of your story is a big piece in sort of attracting what your market is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your story is 100% you. It's like that's the only thing that you have that's 100% authentic, right? Like people don't necessarily, you know, I always say, you know, if you want a training program, you can get a great training program for free online. You can Google it, you can find something, you can find the nutrition plan that's going to work for 90% of the people. What people are going to buy from you is you. So it's like, you know, however you connect with somebody, that's going to be, you know, it has to be from your heart. Otherwise, they'll see through it, you know?
True indeed. You know, myself, I'm not an ex-athlete. Actually, I'm a band geek for all intents and purposes. You know, so it's somewhat incongruent for me to go out looking for athletes to train. I don't speak the language. It's not my thing. But you and I were talking off camera sort of about authenticity and how important that is in business. And that's a clear example. When you share those stories, people get attracted to who you are in reality, not the projection. But let's circle back around to consistency, because that's the overall point of this particular session. And talk to me a little bit about how to make that commitment to yourself, because that's one of your big topics. Talk to us a little bit about that, Mackie.
Yeah, commitment. You know, a lot of times it's easy to commit to somebody else. You know, hey, I'll get you that report by Friday at 5 p.m. or I'll get you this. You know, I'll work out for that person. But you know, the person we let down the most a lot of times is ourselves, right? So it's, you know, oh, I'm gonna, you know, whether you're talking about your own nutrition, your own workouts, or working on your own business, it's like, hey, I need to, you know, schedule my Instagram post for the week. I need to get that done by today, you know, and then you're like, oh, I can let that slide. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll just get today's out, and then I'll get tomorrow's tomorrow, you know, and then next thing you know, it's, you know, it's piled up and you haven't posted for a week. But you commit to yourself, make that commitment to yourself, take whatever baby step you need today, and the snowball effects just start rolling in.
100%. So, you know, as you transition from doing most of your training to at least some or a good part of your training in the online space, you know, sort of post OTA, did you see a change between your income in the two spaces? Like, do you feel like going through that program, going through the Online Trainer Academy, provided you with an income boost, or you feel like you're sort of trying to even things out?
Yeah, so here's a funny story. I tried to start online training back in, I think it was 2013, maybe 2014, but a long time ago. I opened up a Trainerize account. You know, I got started and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then, you know, just got busy in the gym. You know, I'm just going to train people in person because that's what was there. And then, you know, when I found OTA, it's like, all right, finally, I'm going to make that commitment. I'm going to, you know, have this program help me get to what I've been wanting to do for years and just never took the steps to do. But, you know, really my goal, you know, getting into online training is to be able to cut back to a reasonable degree. I love coaching my classes. Like, that's, you know, my connection with people. You know, being in person with people is one of my biggest joys in life. So I never want to let that go completely. But what I was finding was that I was coaching 18 classes a week, plus I had 10 clients in person. And you don't have time to even think about yourself. It's like, you know, you want to talk about burnout, you know, not only are you teaching the class, but as you know, you're making the playlist, you're making the program, you're following up. Hey, did you track on MyFitnessPal today? Your nutrition, you know, like all of these things that just add up. And I wasn't doing it all. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't really fulfilling my clients' expectations of being that all, you know, over and above coach that I wanted to be. So as a result of OTA, you know, I've moved all of my clients, in-person clients, online. So even if I still meet with them once or twice a week, I have them as hybrid clients where, you know, 3/4 of their workouts they're doing on their own. And, you know, not only can I now focus in on them even more so, but they're getting better results. So it's, you know, and to answer your question, long story short, my income is the same, but, you know, I've cut back so much. You know, I now have a day off where I was working 7 days a week. The only day I had off in 2018, the only day I had off from work was for vacation, marathons. So I had like a week off for vacation and then 2 other days that I ran marathons. Every other day of the year I was working. Wow. Even holidays.
So, and we didn't talk about this off camera, but if I'm not sure if you have a family or not, but if so, how did that pace affect that other part of your life? Like, what was that
It
like?
was, and I didn't even realize it. I'm sorry. So I have a wife, and she also is in the fitness industry.
Oh,
She owns two studios, so she's also at sort of a breakneck pace of working almost all the time. But over the last year, we've been able to start to dial it back a notch, where we're now able to both take Sunday mornings off, or Sunday the whole day off. And I didn't realize it, because we would have opportunities to hang out, like, oh, we can go for lunch, or we can go have dinner tonight. But to be able to sleep in on a Sunday morning, and be able to hang out and just like put on whatever on YouTube or on TV, and just like watch a stupid show, and it's everything, right? And we didn't have that for so long, so it's been amazing.
yeah, that's a good point, because sometimes uh, the money, the additional income, just it doesn't equate to a better quality of life. So would you say, just generally speaking, the quality of your life has improved even at the
Oh,
same level
absolutely.
of income?
Absolutely. I mean, in two factors. One factor was I was always so afraid to take any time off, because if you're not working, you're not getting paid in the fitness industry. So now I can actually take my Sunday mornings off. My clients are still doing their workouts. They're still getting their work done, and also they're still paying me. So it's, win-win.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's circle back around to the main point. So we're talking about consistency today with Mackie Root. Um, do you ever struggle? Because I know for a lot of times out there, when you're new to the OTA, when you're a new online trainer, you see a guy on a live session, and you're like, this guy's got it all figured out, man. I want to be like him. He probably never struggles. I'm sure he never feels overwhelmed. He's got perfect systems in place. Is that the reality? Are you at a point where you never feel like there's a struggle? You're never overwhelmed
As
now because you got it all together, right?
True story, I just sent an email maybe 3 days ago to Amber, the OTA coach. Hey, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where I should go next with my business. Just like, I have A, B, and C that I need to do. I can't do all of them at once. Which one should I pick? It's like it's always there. It's like the imposter syndrome, right?
Yes.
But that's one of the great things about the OTA, is that you have these coaches. You have people to lean on when you're like, I'm just having a moment right now. I need a little bit of guidance, or at least somebody to listen, right?
At least somebody listen. Share with us, because I like to make this as real as possible, as authentic as possible. Um, Give us something that you recently, you hit a fence on, and you had to get around. Just to give an example.
Yeah. So I hit I so the A, B, and C of the things that I'm looking to do. I need to improve my social media presence. My goal is to start making more videos. Like, I've done a lot of posts, and it's been very, very good for me, and writing has been good for me. But if I want to, like, my goal is to connect even further with my audience and people that follow me. And it's through video. I think that's one of the best ways that I personally can do it. So you start to look into videos, like, all right, I have an idea for a format for a thing that I could do for IGTV, for YouTube, that, interviewing different, actually very similar to what we're doing today, interviewing different fitness professionals in my local area, but doing it while they're doing a workout. And it's like, all right, that sounds like a great idea. How do I film it? How do I do this? How do I, all the different things of, like, down the road. So that's one idea. Another idea is, all right, I'm ready to take my website to the next level. There's a lot of different things to go with that. another thing that I want to do is, improve my, my marketing with, like an email list. And I don't have an email list. I need to grow that. So where do I need to go with that? So all of these different things could improve my business. Which one do you do first? And that's sort of the fence that I ran up against recently.
Yeah. Do you think that
my idea though, she provided lots of different ideas and different guidance with that. So I'm going to go into the social media angle first, and then we'll get to the website later.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about following a process. Like sometimes when you're new, you've got great ideas, bright new ideas, and you feel like I'm gonna revolutionize all online training processes. I'm gonna reinvent the wheel. What's your don't laugh at us yet, Mackie. What's been your experience with that type of thought process?
I laugh because that was me. It's like, hey, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to have this great idea. I'm going to build out this crazy app with this and that, all the bells and whistles, all these different things. And, I'm going to create the next Facebook or the next, Active or whatever, these huge Peloton, all these like big money things. You don't need to do that. You need to, in order to make a living. So there's an article that's been passed around a lot. It's by this guy called Kevin Kelly, 1,000 True Fans. And he argues that you don't need 150,000 followers. You don't need 200,000 followers. You need 1,000 people that will follow your each and every movement. And if you break down the math, I did the math. If you can get 1,000 people to pay you $250 a quarter, every 3 months, maybe that's $100 a month, $79 a month. Over a course of a year, that's $1 million. So, you follow these, tried and true methods, be a great coach, do a great job, provide the lessons that, and help people get to the goals that they need to. You don't have to create some new thing. You just need a small amount of clients paying you a decent amount of money, and you're well off. You're doing well.
Absolutely. I love the concept of simplifying, simplifying things. And we've both read the same material. We both follow the same sort of rituals and practices. And we hear it all the time from John. Do a great job. Make sure everybody knows about it. Is it really that simple?
It is. I mean, and it's like, it's really funny because you see a lot of people that do one or the other. For a long time, I like to think that I did a good job for people. I got people results. I gave them that outlet that they needed, but I didn't tell anybody about it. So it's like I had my, small little group. They're true fans. They're awesome, but nobody knows about me because I wasn't telling anybody about it. So, or you have people who are shouting to the world, I'm the best trainer there's ever been. And they've been doing it for like 2 weeks. They're just working straight out of the textbook. But, it's like follow the principles, follow the ideas, and, take it one step at a time.
Right. So what was your life like before OTA? Like how consistent were you moving? How methodical were you? Were you actively engaged every single day, before OTA? Or do you feel like there were gaps?
That's a very good question. Even though I was physically engaged, I'm in person with clients, I'm, working hard, right? Like at the end of the day, you're like, man, I worked hard today. That was awesome. But you're not working smart, right? So like I think of like a couple years before OTA, it's like almost like I was, head in the sand, like in a dream world. What was I doing for those 2 years? I could have been working so much smarter, and it could have been so much further along than I am now because, I was just doing the hustle. I thought I was doing everything right, but it's just you're not moving forward.
Give us an indication of something that sort of falls into that category for you. Something you can think back to and think, oh man, like that was incredibly inefficient. Or just something you can think of now that you say, man, this is so much better than the way that I tried to execute it before.
So, do you mean in the sense of doing my online coaching, or in the sense of when I was doing the hustle?
So when you were doing the hustle versus what you're doing now online, can you think of anything that was incongruent, like something that you did before that now you look back and you're like, man, like if I had only known what changed through OTA for you in that context?
Well, I mean, one of the most obvious examples, I guess, is I used to teach a spin class that on a good day you could get there in 20 minutes. But when I was driving out there, it would take an hour. And it would be an hour back through traffic. So I would go out there, drive 2 hours there and back. You have to get there 30 minutes early before the class starts because you have to engage with the clients. You have to start, getting everything set up. The class is 45 minutes long. And then you have another like half hour afterwards still talking with people. So it would take me 4 hours to go out back to teach one class and 4 hours to train 4 people in one class and make probably $0 because of gas and parking. So now I can, spend that 4 hours, build out my Instagram schedule for the week, build out a client. I could build out like 5 client programs for a month in that same amount of time.
Right. One thing you mentioned to me is that, as trainers, we know that when we want to have a program for our clients, right? Like we don't want them to just go in the gym and do bicep curls 6 days a week. How does that trend, is it important? Is it important for a trainer in general, but definitely an online trainer? Is it important for them to have a program, like a plan, knowing exactly what's going to execute instead of just sitting at the computer and mindlessly scrolling for what's the importance of having an effective program to follow?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything, right? Like you wouldn't. It's crazy to think. I was doing the equivalent of doing the chest press and bicep curls 6 days a week. And then not only that, then spend a week off not doing anything, and then come back and do more bicep curls and chest press. Doing the things that I wanted to do on my business, but not the things that I needed to do. So OTA kind of put that front and center. It said, okay, here's the steps that you need to do. Here's the things that need to be done. Do it in your own way, but here are the fundamentals.
And do you think it's worth it to have a template to follow like that, to not, swim upstreams, so to speak? Does the template save you and allow you to accelerate your business in that context?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I am, especially after years of doing that hustle, always having a place to be, always having a schedule to follow. I fired some clients so I could work on this. I knew I needed to make that jump. This was before OTA. And I didn't have that template to follow. I didn't have that plan moving forward. And I would just sit there looking at the computer like, all right, what do I need to do? Let me open up Google Chrome. Let me open my email. Let me open up Facebook. Let me go back to email, and just sit there, spend an hour and get 0 accomplished.
and we've all done it. I mean, most of us that train online have had that experience. I know you were saying previously that you gave it a shot doing online training even before OTA, and I did too. I was attempting it for about a year. I was about a year in the online training before I took OTA, so I totally get that because I was spinning my wheels a lot too, man. I needed a template, a program. Um, Before I let you go, Mackie, I gotta ask you. Like I've seen the emails, so I understand I know what your first name is. Where'd the Mackie come from? Is that a middle name or?
All right, so I'm gonna be authentic right now and give you the real answer. It might seem weird to people, but this is it. When I was born, my mom just got a sense. She said, "You told me." This is like while she was in labor. She's like, "You told me I heard it in my head that my name is Mackie." And so when I was born, my real name is Richard. So when I was born, they said, "Hey, this is Mackie." That's what he told me, right? So about 10 years later, my grandparents had passed away, and we were cleaning out their house, and we found an old Bible that had sort of like a genealogy, family history that we didn't know about, family tree. And it turns out that I have a great-great-grandfather whose last name was McNeil, and his nickname was Mackie.
Holy smokes.
We didn't know that till about 10 years later.
Holy smokes. It's great-great-great-granddad named you.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I was wondering, I meant to ask you that before, guys. I didn't ask that question before. He didn't know that was coming, but I really wanted to know the answer. I haven't seen the information. So Mackie, we're going to wrap this thing up, but we got to let the people know where you can be found. Where can we reach out and find you?
At Mackie Root, MackieRoot on Instagram. Same thing, facebook.com/Mackie Root. Hardcoreaccountability.com. That's my website. It's one of my that's my program that I've been really working on, and those are all the spots.
We had a comment just now from Abigail. Says she'd been dying to know the name thing. Mackie Root just said thanks for asking. She said what a great story. That is a great story, bro.
Yeah.
I feel bad as an interviewer because I feel like I should have led with that.
Open with that, right?
Yeah, that's a good
bomb to drop on.
Yeah, next time, as I gather more experience, Mackie, I'll get better. You've been a gracious guest to indulge me. But hey, we appreciate it so much, man. You dropped some golden nuggets for us today, Mackie. A lot of things for me to think about as well. Hey, thanks so much for coming on. I'll be in touch as I have with all the other guests. I'll be following you and stalking you soon for your secrets, brother.
Sounds good to me. I'm excited.
Hey, we're all in this thing together. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this live session. Thank you for your involvement. If you're coming back to watch this live session on a replay, thanks for coming around and check it out. And eventually these will get bumped down to a podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast, we hope you enjoyed it. You got some tremendous information from it. And we'll see you guys next time. Oh, by the way, happy first day of summer, everybody. The longest day of the year today. See what you can do with all the daylight you're going to get. Make it happen. And we'll catch you next time. Mackie, have a great weekend, my friend. Thanks so much. And we'll be seeing you, brother.
Sounds good.
All right.